about Peter Obi's statement or address to the nation, talking about the president's New Year message. He described Nigeria as, or Nigeria's economic situation as a national emergency, highlighting all the issues that we have going on in Nigeria: debt crisis, soaring poverty. He's now calling for immediate, bold measures from the president. In your view, do you believe this administration has shown the amount of urgency that Peter Obi is calling for?
I think, like I've always said, it's about talk, and Nigerians are not seeing the action. You don't print out the economic, blue paper without Nigerians feeling the reality of how the governance system is supposed to operate. If there's one of the statement from the spokesperson, it will leave me bewildered, because it's very embarrassing for you to say this advice is needless when the statistics are obvious. When you look at it, about 56% of Nigerians are living, in multi-dimensional poverty. That's about 129 million Nigerians. If you look at the fact that we have the last statistic that was released by the NBS, you have 2.2 trillion paid to kidnappers. That 2 million Nigerians were kidnapped, and that means our farm system is not. People can't go to farm. People are not secured in government places. We have about 39.6 million arable land to farm on, and Nigerians are not utilizing it. The president have made promises about trying to dive into agriculture until 500 hectares farmland. He has not kept that. There's no reality that is more obvious than the hunger on the streets of Nigeria. The Nigerians are suffering, and the pain is obvious, and the lack of physical discipline within this government, for them to be able to have a budgetary provisions that will actually drive poverty out of the country, for them to have a budgetary provision that is not self-serving or self-seeking. Because if you look at the current budget, about 4 billion has been budgeted to build jetties and helipad in Lagos, about 4.6 billion to buy vehicles, 5.4 billion to renovate the presidential villa, and 9.4 billion for trips and entertainment for the president and the vice president. This kind of budgetary system, that has these repeated line items, will not take Nigeria out of poverty. And for the APC to not see a thought out advice that will help the Nigerian economy to grow and develop, and then have a system that is responsive and respect the true situation of this country. The statistics is not something we produce or people outside manufacture. It's even coming from government. So the reality on the street is what we talk about. You can't have a system where you have this level of kidnapping. You have a system that one of the primary purpose of government is that government must be able to provide for security for life and property. And when government fail to do that, and government need to seek necessary help from those who can give them the advice. So whatever Peter Obi has said today about the very dark situation that Nigeria found itself since Bola Ahmed Tinubu took over is the reality. Because if you look at our debt, we were at 87 trillion. When over the last 20 months, our debt had jumped from 87 trillion to 130 trillion in the last 20 months. So what are we doing with the money? Is this money being put into productive use or used to serve the exorbitant, luxurious lifestyles of those in government? So we need government to come to us hard questions. We don't need these rhetorics that people come about and say, my friend was driving a limousine or something, and now he drives a Honda. You should imagine that those who were driving Honda, what are they driving today? Those who are driving machine, what are they driving today? So you should look at how that cascading process, devastating to making more Nigerians go into poverty. So we can't have a situation where we cannot talk about hard reality, but we concentrate on the cheap talk and then try to promote something that is non-existent. So we must sit down as a people and continue to speak to the government, so that the government will see that the need for more physical discipline, physical responsibility to be able to design this country in a way that the resources of this country work for the people on the street, work for the masses, work for the Nigerian workforce, so that we can have a system that is progressive. The president talk about CNG. Where are the CNG buses?
If you can.
Hello.
I just wanted to pivot a little bit to what the president said. He acknowledged that, look, Nigerians are facing a turbulent time. He spoke about the inflation rate, and he pledged to reduce that to 15%. Now, in Obi's statement as well, he's questioning the feasibility of that target. We know that for us to reduce inflation, we have to ramp up our food production. What are your thoughts on that?
It's very obvious that, the president is more... I don't know who is advising the president to look at how to cut down inflation from where it is today to 15%, from 30% plus to 15%. People are not going to farm. And one of the major contributors to the inflationary element in this country is food. And what is the budget for agriculture today? What is the plan to secure farmers in the farm? What is the plan to improve our cultivation and our farm industrial complex? These are the issues. The government, they don't have plan. There's no budget. You don't just say these things to want to whip sentiment or try to give statistics that are not realistic. We must look at things that are realistic. The government is not even cutting down costs to say, look, we're going to block loopholes. We are going to reduce the amount of level of money that we are spending on things that are not necessary, like renovating of the presidential villa for 9.4 billion in the current budget. If the government is not even doing that, it's even making the government even more larger than it's supposed to be at the moment. So this is not a realistic expectation. Everybody wants inflation to go down. People want to have a system where out of more pocket expenses, the more money people have in their pocket can buy more product in the market. But this inflation is something that you must have an holistic economic blueprint that will make sure that our farmers are secured, our farmland are secured, and that we can invest more in agriculture to drive down the cost of food, which is above 40% today. So we have this situation on ground, and the president is talking about statistics that whatever data information that he has put in the public, people want us to be optimistic. We are, but we can't be optimistic without seeing what the president, the magic wand the president want to display. The country deserves a total open disclosure of what system that the president want to display. You can't come and talk, and then next year you come again and do a soft ball press conference and then explain to us how this is at work, but the data speaks a different reality. We cannot have where our countries 2 million people are kidnapped. You have 2.2 trillion paid to kidnappers, and you are even making budget. You are making budget for development commissions, and you exempted the North Central totally. The North Central was not captured. It's not part of the zone. That is a total lack of disrespect for our people. I'm from the North Central, and if you go to our communities from community today, you will see how angry how people have been. From WhatsApp to WhatsApp, these messages are going around. That it shows lack of proper coordination by government. Because when you talk about equality, you must also talk about equitable distribution of resources, so that every person, if you put that money, you have given some south side about 7 point something billion, and you are going to now give some people. You should be able to give North Central some money. When you have plan that you want to drive down food inflation, you know that Kogi and Benue should be the center of your project to be able to achieve that. If you put that kind of, let's say 300 billion in Kogi in North Central today, and you drive that road from Kogi, Benue State to Nasarawa to Abuja, and you secure this place, we'll be able to have massive food cultivation, for cultivation of farmland that will result into having enough surplus of food supply in the market, and this will drive down costs. But they are not putting all this investment in the right area. Everything is done for political favoritism and to be able to paint the color that will not be able to take our people from the current situation that we find ourselves.
Mr. Ameh, if you can hear me, I just wanted to get your thoughts on opposition politics. The Labour Party leader, Peter Obi, spoke about that when he spoke to the nation today. He says it's a toxic climate for opposition politics. From your perspective, how does this sort of political atmosphere affect the ability of the opposition parties to effectively contribute to the governance of the country?
Opposition is, it's very important when you have a ruling government, you have opposition. Nigeria run a multi-party democratic system that's captured in section 223 to 229. And you cannot do without the opposition. Opposition is actually a government outside government. And to be able to, state the obvious, because most times when you have ruling government, you have people who are within the ruling government who are praise singers and most times spineless, to be able to tell their principal the truth. So what the opposition does is to stand in gap between the people and those in government and try to make sure that the truth, the issues that are burning, that are causing Nigerians to suffer, are brought to the public sphere to discuss. And the opposition level, the way state government use state apparatus to suppress the opposition, they have made mistakes. It's just that they've not study history very well. If you study history, you know that this election is not between you and the parties. It's not between you and the politician leaders. It's between you and the hunger on the street. It's between you and people who cannot have access to clean water. It's between you and people who know that you are more living in luxury, spending more money to maintain those in government, while the majority of people suffer and languish without nothing. It's between you and the children who cannot return back to school. It's between you with children who attend classes in dilapidated conditions. So this is not about you and the political party or the opposition political party. The issue here is that you have made promises while you were canvassing to be elected. You have gone into office today and you are still making promises while you are in office. That's why I said it's more talk, no action, no result. We must have result so that Nigeria, it's our interest here. It's not the interest of the president, it's not my interest. It's about the interest that the generality of Nigerian population, we have the benefit that they deserve from having what they call good governance system in place that will be able to ensure that no Nigerian child born again we undergo this 56% data as released by World Bank that people living in multi-dimension in poverty, which amount for about 129 million Nigerians. So these are the things that should bother those in government, but what bothers them more is how to be able to oppress those who are trying to make sure that the Nigerian citizens come to see the reality of things and then give them appropriate. Today, if you look at the press conference, there were a lot of advice.
Mr. Ameh, if you can hear me.
There were a lot of advice.
Mr. Ameh, unfortunately, we don't have any more time.
In fact, this is just it. Everybody knows there is hunger in the country, so we don't need to. These people don't even need somebody to tell them. They know. They're just looking for whom to bring, they're looking for somebody to shift their responsibility to. That's the problem. So if they are doing this, so how are they telling us, giving us promises that they are working, if they not even see the problem in this country as a problem? It's unfortunate that we are passing through this under the so-called leadership of Tinubu. It's unfortunate. Yes, because now they are talking like this. They don't see anything. Anyway, I don't know. Let's just wait. Maybe until 2027 we shall know. So if Tinubu is going to continue or another person is going to come in. But as it is now, with all the problems he has created and he's still creating, I don't think there will be a chance for him to continue his tenure after 2027. He better go home and sleep, better go home and rest. So this problem is getting too much. Government is all about governing, delivering the dividends of democracy, looking after yourself. It's not about problems. It's not about dictatorship. So this will find ourselves under this so-called president dictatorship. Nobody can talk again. If you talk a big problem, no, we can't continue like this. So no. Anyways, because everything Peter Obi said on that live broadcast yesterday, that is the truth. That is the reality. So Peter Obi was not lying. He said it. Nigerians could feel it. So it is not you as a president that wants to judge, that want to mark yourself, that want to tell us that you are doing well, your administration is doing well. It's the citizens, Nigeria, that needs to tell you that hey, this president is doing well. 80 or 99% of these Nigerians are complaining of the hardship you are creating, the problems you are creating. Only 1%, those ones are APC members. So definitely you are not expecting them to complain. So that's the problem. Peter Obi was not lying. You need to sit up and better act now before it's too late. Please share this video now. Subscribe to this YouTube channel. I'll be your guy now. Run out for me. Subscribe.